Bar Group, raising the bar in real estate. Your Lake Highlands, Lakewood, Preston Hollow pros. You can find them at thebargroup.com. Unparalleled customer service for your real estate needs. The Bar Group. Kind of caught him off guard, didn't I? See, I told everybody, I told these weirdos, that these crazy people come and watch this stuff. I have no idea why, but I like to catch people off guard. Without further ado, I'm going to put on Prem Carnot. Prem, how are you, man? Prem, Prem.
Prem, yes.
Prem, sorry.
I'm doing great, Curtis. Thanks for having me on your show.
Oh, you're welcome. So tell us where you're at and what you do.
I live in Vero Beach, Florida. So I've been a full-time pickleball coach for the past 15 years.
Wow.
So it's a passion.
Yes.
It's always been a passion to play this game and impart information and knowledge I gained over the years and 20 years of playing pickleball and playing tournaments. So I've been doing this. I was actually considered the first traveling pickleball coach.
You were
50 years ago.
Who was that player?
And no one did coaching. Obviously, when I started coaching, people thought it was a funny game, and who would ever take it seriously to play coach pickleball and make a living out of it.
Wow.
But here I am.
Here you are. I know.
Still coaching.
Well, that's going to lead us into the way of pickleball. Tell us what you got started, when you got started, and all that. Like, go back 20 years. Just tell us what you know.
Yeah, so about 20 years ago, I'm originally from France. So I met the mother of my children in Paris when I used to manage hotels in Paris, high-end hotels in Paris. And then after a few years of dating and courting, and we decided that we should start our lives together somewhere in Europe or in the U.S., as things always go, the woman always has the last say. So
that's a good way to live, man. Otherwise, it ain't right.
Exactly. So I moved. I quit my job in Paris and got married in Chicago, and then settled in a remote island called Hartstein Island in Washington State, just south of Seattle.
Oh wow! Now,
I was a tennis player and a ping pong player. I was playing tennis, and some older gentleman came and approached me and said, come and play pickleball." I was not interested in playing pickleball like many of the tennis players. I was a snob, and I said, I do not want to play this old man game. I refused to play it, and
Really?
but insisted. And then at one point I said to the wife at that time, I said to her, I said, "Give me 2 minutes. I'll be done with this guy, and he will leave me alone." And he put me against these two gentlemen who were probably in their late 70s and very heavy set. And I, obviously being an athlete, I said, this is not going to be fun at all for these guys. It did take 2 minutes, but not the way I thought it was going to go. I was running like crazy, and all I saw was 11-0. I thought it was a mistake. And
that happened to me. That happened to me. No, exactly. I swear to you. As they say, Matt Lazzarini, he's a master professional for the IPTPA. He beat my ass at Royal Oaks Country Club here in Dallas when I first started it, 11-0. And I go, keep going, I'm sorry. That happened to me, I swear to you, Matt. If you're listening, it did. Yeah, so what'd you say? It was 11-0. What'd you say?
So I said, okay, this is a mistake. I had to go back again, and I tried playing again. It was the second time against these guys, and I got another 11-0, 3 times in a row. Didn't even score a point, and I was sweating, fusing, tired. I mean, like, I'm running around the court, and these guys were just moving the ball left and right. And my curiosity got the better of me. I said, I need to learn this game. And so I started playing it there in the local area. And then obviously being in Washington State, as you know, it is quite rainy. And so we used to go and play indoors. And sooner or later, I started mastering a part of the game, and I got a lot better, and I started winning more and getting better at these guys, and I became
King.
probably the king of the
There
hill
you
at
go.
that
There you
point in that
go.
little town.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And then came a few years later, a national championship which happened in Buckeye, Arizona, and they invited me
Wow.
to play in this tournament.
How was that?
Since I was, the king of the hill at that time, I said, well, why should I not go and play? And I'm not that bad.
Yeah, yeah.
So I did go and play, and as you would have guessed, what happened?
Did you win? Yeah.
Got my butt kicked.
What?
Um,
No.
because all of a sudden I'm seeing something,
Oh.
and they were playing something else, and I'm playing something else. And I thought what it was pickleball, and those guys were doing something called dinks and all these things. And all I knew was drive and lob.
Oh
Because I was
wow.
getting the better of my older folks, but I
Yes.
did not realize there was
Yeah.
a whole different game of dinks and
Drops and dinks
volleys
and
and
volleys. Yeah.
controls.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
had no clue.
Wow.
Obviously, that luckily for me, a lot of the players who played in that Arizona Nationals were from the Pacific Northwest,
Mm-hmm.
and which allowed me to befriend some of these guys. And then when I went back to Seattle, I befriended these guys and played a lot more time. Spent enormous amount of time playing with these guys, as much as 10 hours every day.
Wow.
Uh,
So
uh,
real quick on that, with we're talking with Prem Carnot,
yeah,
here in Florida, Vero Beach, Florida. Sorry, I'm fascinated by your story because shut up.
you draw parallels.
No, I'm fascinated because number one, two things that impressed the hell out of me. Number one, you admitted you got your butt kicked 3 times because it happened to me. That's hilarious. It goes by so fast. And then,
Exactly.
and then I thought you were building it up to win nationals. I'm like, oh my God, he's one of those stuck-up pros. Great. And you go, I lost. Everybody goes, huh? So that was like awesome. 3 or 4 guys go, huh? That's an awesome story. That's why we founded this. I mean, that's so much fun. So let me ask this question. So 20 years ago, start with like an evolution to kind of give everybody, our listeners or viewers or both, what it was 20 years ago. What it was like at a national tournament. Was it massive? Was it small? I mean, what was it?
That time, I would say it was around about 500 to 700 players.
Still a decent sized draw, right?
It was a decent sized national. So there was a lot of players from across the country, but
Yeah.
I think it was still in the nascent state, and there were a lot of players like me who did not really know much of what you see nowadays in the game. You wouldn't see nothing of that at that time. So I think we were pretty much an amateur in that level at that point.
Yeah.
But there was obviously a great level of play.
Oh yeah.
Even then,
Yeah.
it simply was not. It was limited to a bunch of young people who played between them in the greater Seattle area. And once I found them and I started drilling and practicing with them, and it became a lot better player. And then obviously the year afterwards, I did a lot better.
Wow.
Won a few medals, and then started understanding more. And obviously from that point onwards, I was upgraded to a level of play where I was invited to play with the big boys.
Yeah.
And continued to play very well for a few number of years. And that question, at some point, my wife at that time, she said, I think we need to play more. We started playing the game together.
Oh, okay,
She
good, right?
also won a few number of national titles herself.
Wow.
Then she said, we need to play more. And so at that point, we said, we were in this remote island. We had to commute out of it and go into Seattle, which was 2-hour drive every day, and then spend 10 hours and driving back. It was just too much. So we ended up renting the house and moving down to Southern California.
Wow.
That's when I was playing, and by then I've already reached a good level of play and winning tournaments. And one gentleman who I knew from Seattle asked me to help him out on certain things, and I helped him out, and then he was the one who gave me this moniker. Pickleball Guru. And I looked at him and I said, are you giving me this because I look Indian?
No, shut up.
He said, "No, no, it's not really because you look Indian, because it's the way you teach."
Yeah,
And he
passionate.
encouraged me to go into the coaching world, and that's how it started 15 years ago. And put out my little poster out there in Seattle, and here I am, 15 years after, trading, coaching everywhere across this, not only this nation, but
Yeah.
uh, across Europe and Asia as well. So I've been doing this for a long time,
So
and
the
I love it.
so the next Kev, that leads into a lot of questions on the way of pickleball. Okay, we'll go to what brand of pickleball do you endorse? Do you have one, or do you like one, or do you have a couple, or what do you play with?
You mean brand in terms of
Like,
products,
yeah, no.
or
What type? Like, I'm sponsored by Head, and there's also Diet. And what is there a paddle brand that you use or no?
I use all sorts of brands. I see a lot of really great products out there.
Mhm.
Off lately, I discovered this Australian-made paddle called Zik.
Oh wow, Zick.
It's a Zick,
Okay,
and I've been really enjoying playing with that paddle.
the thinner.
But there's a lot of great products. I don't have a particular
Wow.
brand I endorse.
Yeah.
There's a lot of brands I endorse. Zik is one of them. There's a whole bunch of other practice tools for my coaching I use, are also great
Sure.
products like Smash Pickleball,
Oh
which is
yeah.
a a product to use to practice your hand-eye
Hmm.
coordination, speed, and
Yeah.
volley, things like that. Um, so there's a bunch of really good paddles out there. Anyhow, from Zig to Hula to, I'm not sure about
Hula.
Head. I haven't tried a lot of
Oh,
Head.
I get pals. People send me pals. I use all of them. I'm saying like that was just an example of like. I know if you had a company that sponsored you because you played and teach, so you're a man of all trades. I love that. So you got any events coming up with your academy or what you're doing or
Yes,
what's going on?
Pickleball Guru Academy.
Hmm.
That's a good
Tell us
question,
about that,
Curtis.
please.
Um, so I just finished one in Turks and Caicos, so my international one for a week, and
Wow.
then I did a weekend live play boot camp in Vero Beach. And during the winter months, I normally do once a month here in Vero Beach. I only invite 8 people for these camps,
Wow.
so it's very intimate and it's very intense.
I believe that.
I always say, my students always hear, they say that they keep hearing me growl afterwards when they make mistakes.
Yeah, yeah. I yell. Oh, you know what I
Uh,
do? I go, ew.
yeah,
Try
I
that. Try
don't.
that.
I
When they
growl.
miss the ball, go, ew. It
That's a good
works.
one.
I swear it works. It
I'm
makes me.
sure it does. Um,
Oh, we're
so the
swapping.
next one is coming up is next month in January.
Okay.
I think January 11th and 12th, and
Wow.
then there's every month,
Hmm.
February, March, April, and then I have also Costa Rica
Nice.
in, in March, a boot camp, international boot camp as well.
Wow. So what's your right now? Well, it's still in the way of pickleball. Speaking with Prem Carnot, is what's your favorite memory so far that you would have? Maybe it could be recent, or one could be recent, one could be from a while back. But in pickleball right now, I like to ask my guests if they have a real favorite story that comes to mind.
Um, I think, Curtis, as a coach, you know this one, and it is the best feeling. It's not about when students are sitting there and winning tournaments.
Yes.
Yes, it can be helpful, but that is not what I. It's sometimes when you're instructing someone and they're like with their deer in the headlight, and are completely confused in what is going on and what that information has been given to you.
Yes.
But then when they get it, the light
Oh.
bulb moment when you see it happen in them, it's a joy, absolute joy, pleasure for as a as a teaching professional
Yeah.
to watch them, like the ha moment which happens in them, and really feel empowered in their game.
Yeah.
um, my philosophy of teaching is not sugar. I never really try to spoon feed them.
No.
I try to make sure that they learn from their own experiences.
Yes.
All I do is just give them the pathway, at least guide them to that pathway, but I want them to actually make that own transition inside of them.
Hmm.
And when I see that moment, those are all beautiful moments every time I see it, and I see it every time.
That's That's one of those reasons why I bug you guys and people. Again, I told you when we were talking in the green room that I screwed up. Yeah, I screwed it up. So what? But we got recorded a new one. So I was telling you about how it's so important to see those small things happen. And I saw your passion. I read how you were. And I'm like, I'm going after this guy. I mean, that's how I got like Rick Barry, and I got Carlene Bassett, and I got some Scott Gold, and I got people coming in more and more. Just amazing people with awesome stories, and you're one of them. And again, that's the beauty of what you said. So that's very, very nice. Remember that there's not too many pros out there that are our age who are still with the same passion. Some get bored with it, some move on, but if you keep that same fire, then you keep going.
Yes.
Awesome. What's your you have a favorite player right now?
I would say not just because he's got the title and the number one seeding there, but I think Ben Johns is for one great reason. He's not only an amazing player, he's an amazing he's a wonderful person on and off the court. He's got that demeanor. He's like the Roger Federer of pickleball. He keeps him to himself.
He's a good ambassador for the game.
He's a good ambassador for such a young man to really carry it with a lot of grace. I do appreciate, and I happen to know him well as well, and so he's a really nice kid. I really enjoy.
I love this stuff. All right, so favorite tip you would tell one of your players, like basically a 3-0, 2-5, 3-0, whatever, 3-5. Beginner play, rec.
Coming from a tennis background, what I can tell you is one of the biggest mistakes I often see tennis players coming into pickleball do, is those big backswings, or the backups. Or when I mean backup is like they step back to wait for the balls and then want to rip that ball. I'm not against that, but at the earlier levels, at least in the earlier levels, the beginner intermediate levels, what I really want them to look at is not to really back up and stay in front of the ball and start making contact with the ball in front. So the drill I often suggest them is actually I ask them to go to the baseline of the court, and I would normally tape about 7 foot from the baseline. I would tape a little blue tape there and have them stand. And it's generally by then the fence behind them is about 2 feet. Wow. So they're pretty much stuck there. And then I'll start feeding them balls, dink or volleys, or even hard ball drives, which forces them not to swing anymore because the paddle cannot swing anymore back because the fence is right there. So they can't swing anymore. They can't back up. Even the hard ball drives, they have to find a way to block that ball in front of them. So it's a great tip to allow people not to back up any more balls, because that's one of the common things you see people do is always try to back up. Stay in front of that ball and move sideways, have those wonderful happy feet moving sideways, and control the ball in front of them, then rather than backing up or swinging that paddle behind them.
Truth. That's good.
It's a drill which I often suggest for especially people coming from racket sport backgrounds where there's a big backswing.
You guys hear that? Anyway, we won't charge you for that, right, Prem? We won't charge you. I love that. I love the stories like that. Okay, this one's a big one. It's pretty simple, but what's your favorite rule to tell a player? That's pretty simple, but we all forget about.
Enjoy.
Enjoy?
As simple as that. Enjoy. That's a simple rule. Go in the court. There's no point of having, tight lip, tight face, and there's nothing. More relaxed you are, more easy it is to play. And if you don't enjoy it, then don't play it.
It's awesome. I'm gonna give you a little tip I have. I'm gonna get in trouble. I don't care. So I was working on dinks, and I love to have my players reset. And I'm charging you guys. Is that when you have to let the ball bounce in the kitchen? You have to let it bounce. That's bounce in the kitchen, right? And I tell them it forces them to move back, which is in essence resetting a point. And I tell them just remember one thing: if you got to think, dink. That's my one I've been doing about 4 or 5 years now. But I got a new one.
Go ahead.
Toes before hose or toes before bros. Yep. And why is that? Because you're trying to hit the ball with their toes. Toes before bros, man.
Only a man from Texas can say that.
Toes before bros or toes before hoes, bro. That's how you dink. This guy just walked through. Did you hear that? That's free. So anyway, hey, we're gonna get out of here. Would you like to come back on, and we can get more in the kitchen, and we can do all these fun games where you make me feel stupid, which is easy. But we got to get out of here right now. Would you like to come back on?
Sure.
Do you think he wants to come back on? Yeah. All right, man. Well, listen, how will people get in touch with you? Oh, he does a great job on LinkedIn. I know that. But let everybody know what social medias they can get on you, or maybe look at your work. Or
you can definitely go on the website with the pickleballguru.com. And obviously, there's a lot of tips, 15 years of content. Every month, I normally put out a blog post on pickleball strategies, which is free, totally free. They can access it, from resets to drives to, dinks to court position to mental preparation and many more. They can go on the pickleballguru.com website. They can also go on the Pickleball Guru and on Instagram. There's a lot of his posts there as well, and as well as my social Facebook page, the Pickleball Guru.
I'm going to follow those right now. Now, listen, I can be reached at Curtis at Reese Racket Sports or on the World Wide Web, just Curtis Reese Pickleball. We're seen on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, all that stuff. Well, Prem, have a great week, and I think we're going to leave now. You got anything else you want to say?
Yes. Well, as I say always, just go have fun on the pickleball court, and remember, it's only pickleball.
With that being said, if it involves margaritas or money, that's out the window. Yes! Right?
Thank you, Curtis.
Okay, maybe no margaritas, but yeah, I got margaritas. I don't know. We live on the beach. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
It was a lot of fun. We'll get another segment going. Does that sound like a lot of fun?
Yes.
All right, man. Take care. See you.